see if the zooming into YouTube works better this time.
Is it working?
Seems to be working better. So let's give it a second. I see you get a little bar that goes like that.
Yeah, so meeting is now streaming live on YouTube. Oh, that's cool. That's wicked. Because I've got like so many like YouTube ideas for live streams.
Okay,
in the future
we are
well.
live. This is Justin Dunn and.
Oh, we're waiting for me. Chow. I'm Chow. Sorry.
No, we're not waiting for everybody.
I thought you could introduce me
live with the podcast Justin Answer. I am getting feedback of myself, so I just need to go take off that window. But anyway, Justin Answers the podcast, and we are live, and we are asking the question: what do T-shirts, tees, tech, and pizza have in common? And the answer is right here with me now, a man named Chow, pun intended. And so this guy is a serial entrepreneur who has started 3 businesses and is running 3 businesses during lockdown that are thriving. So if you happen to be in Nottingham, I am telling you right now, this is pizza that is better than any ordinary pizza you have ever had. And I will reveal why that's interesting in a minute, because it is not ordinary pizza by far. If I told you what it was now, you'd probably be, no thanks, I don't want that. I don't need that. However, you won't regret it. You will thank me if you try this pizza. However, you'll thank me even more if you try the mac and cheese, and you'll really thank me if you try these cheese balls. But of course, that's only if you are in Nottingham, because if you're not, there's no way I can do it with you. So I'm sharing my screen right now. Yesterday, I had a delivery and I could not wait to bring it inside. I sat there at the door and stuffed my face with these cheese balls because they were so damn, oh, pardon my French, they were just so good. Wow.
Oh, I forgot to ask you
so
that
that's
before
the
we
pizza.
started.
That's the cheese balls. There's the pizza. There's the macaroni and cheese, which just blows my mind. I will never have any others ever, and I'm not joking. And then there is the breadsticks and bread twists. And again, I am never ordering, not the Papa John's, the Domino, none of that garbage ever. Do I need it ever again because of this individual here? But that's only one thing, because take a look at what I'm modeling here. Sup, beaches? Because if you're not in Nottingham, that's okay. You're going to want a cool t-shirt like this, because he started the company called Nuttee. Nuttee, get it? Pun intended. So you're going to want a t-shirt like this. This one is my favorite, Sup, beaches, but there are so many, and they're all funny with class, humor and class. So none of them are crass. So you can safely wear these t-shirts, amuse yourself and amuse your buddies. And of course, if you have any tech issues on the web, your website, all that stuff, TP IT services. So that is what teas, tech, and pizza all have in common. So, Chow, my friend, welcome to the podcast.
I was going to give you a clap. That was awesome. I was completely lost. I was like, that is actually amazing. I can't believe like someone was just sending me like that. I was just standing there, well, just sitting here going, that's just incredible. Just keep talking, Justin.
That's what I do.
I didn't want to talk.
The big bucks for us to figure this kind of stuff out. But Chow, no, seriously, you're a remarkable human being, and
Thank
so
you.
accolades, that adulation, and that edification is well deserved. I am a consumer of your product. I am not just your friend. I am a customer of yours. I pay you money.
Absolutely.
As I showed the evidence before, for that remarkable food, as well as this fun t-shirt that I'm wearing today, as well. Well, okay, so I haven't really purchased your IT services yet. So that's I'm not going to lie and say I'm
But then
IT.
you don't need to. So.
But I don't need to, because I don't have those needs in my life right now. So let's talk about you now. So let's talk about, get you to answer some questions here, because I know this is your first, podcast experience, and that's good.
Can I ask you though, am I allowed to swear?
Yeah, you can use whatever language you want. That's completely up to you. Cool. That kind of language can sometimes drive some people away, and sometimes some people think, oh, that's cool, he's relatable because he dropped the F-bomb. So it's completely up to you. You do whatever you want. But the first question I want to ask you is, what's been your because you've started 3 businesses. And before that, I know you were working for actually a friend of
Yeah.
mine, weirdly enough. And so what's been your biggest challenge in business and how did you overcome it?
It might sound a bit cliche, and probably everyone's going to hear me and go, well, yeah, it's obvious. It's the same with a lot of business, but it's starting out. It really is starting out, and keep going. The thing that I personally didn't actually struggle with, in a sense, where I knew a lot of people. As a kid, I got myself out there, sort of out into the big world, and I knew a lot of people. So I kind of approached a lot of people in saying, would you like a website? Would you like a website? And I knew the biggest the biggest challenge was actually learning how to do a website. So once I found, I had like a list of people that said, yes, we'll let you do a website. And when I had a meeting with every single one of them, I actually said, I had no idea how to build a website whatsoever. And it's something I really, really want to do, that I'm actually looking into now. I'm building my own website for my own business at the moment. I'm more new. I'm doing it at a really cheap rate because I'm new and first started. Would you let me do it? And every single one of them said, yeah. And the truth is, every single one of them have stuck with me as well. From
Okay, so wait, so you started a business, and what possessed you to start a business that you actually didn't intimately know already? Like, I mean, you started the pizza business, so I'm thinking,
Yeah.
well, can you even cook? But obviously you can, because it's fantastic stuff, and I'm never going anywhere else again, literally.
Yeah.
You know, and if I'm in a foreign country
Yeah.
and you're not nearby, I'm just not going to have pizza. I'm not
Yeah,
even
that's
in
true.
Italy. Well, maybe I'll make an exception if I'm in Italy. But you know, the thing is that, you know, what possessed you to start a business that you're like not like already totally expert in?
Well, the truth, actually, yeah, and I'll tell you the conversation I had with the council after as well, when they called me during, like when because this, so just for everyone's information, this food business, the pizza business, has to this date has been running for less than 4 weeks. So it will be 4 weeks by this Sunday. So we're on Thursday, and what kind of prompted me to start was, so before I officially started and started dishing out free samples and give samples to people, random strangers, kids, everyone, I was sort of planning it and deciding, because sort of the IT business kind of slowed down because of COVID, just like a lot of businesses, and with me having a lot more time. And I thought, what's really popping off at the moment? And that's food delivery. And in my plan, in my vision, see, I kind of like, a lot of people do just like, you know, you write down your goals or what you want to achieve in like next year, 2 years, 5 years, where you see yourself in 20 years, so stuff like that. And in part of like my life plan is I've always wanted a restaurant anyway, like open some kind of restaurant. And that is because I've just been cooking for the last sort of 10 odd years. And the pizza kind of came on the back of, I got my first ever job when I was 16 at Papa John's. And that was literally one of the best workplaces that I've ever had, and it was great. And I kind of taught myself there. I started off on the till, and it was just like, I got bored after 2 weeks, and I asked my manager. I remember asking my manager if I could, because I saw the people running the shop there. They were making the pizzas, like, because they could make loads of like chapatis, their own food, so they were throwing the pizzas around, and I was like, that's cool. I want to do that. So I asked my manager if they'd let me do it. And literally on one day, I taught myself. He did say to me, he's like, Chow, we would let you, in all honesty, but like it's a Friday night soon, and we need the dough, and you might waste a lot of dough if you can't. And I said, okay. And they let me anyway. And I wasted 2 dough, and I learned how to make the pizza, flipping it, tossing it and everything in 2 hours. And that was when they literally hired me in for a few times, and literally I ran the whole shop myself. And whilst I was there, just in the making it and sort of taking the orders and doing deliveries, I was just sort of like, this is when I was 16, 17, like visualizing, like, imagine if I could do this one day for myself, just imagine, and kind of forgot about it. So when I left, at the time I had about 4 different part-time jobs. So I'm actually very good with managing a lot of things. I'm multitasking, I'm pretty used to it. And then we were sat down deciding what to make and stuff like that. And I made a big diet change for myself personally, like 10 months ago anyway, and sort of making the transition and cutting out a lot of bad meat and getting a load of like I was heavily eating a lot of like red meat, eggs, stuff like that, and it wasn't really good for my health at all. I was probably going to toilet about 4 or 5 times a day. It just wasn't great, and I was really my mental game wasn't quite there, and I was putting myself down quite a lot for it. Is what I eat. I didn't care, and I thought, no, Chow, this isn't why you got out there from when you were 16 and doing all this in the first place. What are you doing, right? You need to keep yourself up for yourself. So when I decided to do that, I took the change. I started cooking more. I mean, when I started heavily cooking when I moved out anyway at 21 for myself, because I rented my own flat. Just started cooking loads of different dishes. So my specialty is actually Caribbean food, and I can cook a lot of meat dishes. So I'm very used to that. And just in comparison with the two, that's why I decided to go down the vegan route, because something was missing for vegan pizzas. Because I think back to all my life in cooking, all I hear on my friends and people moaning about how they feel so stodgy after eating a pizza. Myself as well, personally, how they all have like ridiculously heavy bases and the crust gets left over. Myself as well. And I started making a load of pizzas before I officially launched the business. And literally the day before I started giving out samples, I was sat there about 11:30, 12 o'clock at night, and I was thinking, something's missing in this base. Like, I don't know what that, but like people were telling me, yeah, it's great. No, it's actually good. But I said, no, it's not quite like to the stand. It needs to be, I want to compete with the people up there. Like you said, the Papa John's, Domino's, Pizza Express, because Pizza Express is known for a really good pizza, a really good thin base. I love Pizza Express myself. But again, they have the same problem with everyone else, is that they do a lot of dough, a lot of bases, and people basically eat it and again just feel full, horrible after. And it's like, you want to feel good, don't you? If you're going to go out to eat a meal, you want to feel good. If you want to order a takeaway, it's obviously a good thing. I can't grasp the concept of wanting to order a takeaway and stuff like that, and then afterwards people go there, feel bad. And that must be the food. That must be people delivering the food of what people eat. So literally that night, I made the Secret Garden pizza on my menu, and me and my girlfriend were like, wow, this is the one, and this is going to be people's favorite pizza, Secret Garden. And yeah, that's when I started giving out loads of samples, and then through word of mouth, it just went from there. In total, sort of Instagram and Facebook, nearly 1,000 followers in less than 4 weeks. I had like kind of set a goal in my head, try and get 1,000 followers by the end of the year, but I mean, that is a bit underachieving for me. I might even get that by the end of the month.
Yeah, and especially like you said earlier, you identified a real need right now, a real
Exactly,
want right now, which is the food delivery. So of
That's
course,
it, yeah.
you're delivering these things. Pizza is of course something that everybody loves, and so you're offering a different kind of pizza, and of course you're differentiating it for people who are vegan.
Yes.
Now that we've let the cat out of the bag. But like I told you, when I first had it, I was like, this is vegan pizza that's better than any ordinary pizza that you've ever had. And that's not a lie. And when I tried the cheese ball, I literally, that was a real reaction. I was like, is this cheese really vegan? This is really not, there's no crap, there's no butter in this dough. It's all really, because I'm not vegan, right? But I'm only going to be ordering your twists, cheese balls, mac and cheese, and pizza from now on, because it's that good. There's just no reason for me to order otherwise. If I'm in the mood for pizza, then I'm just going to order with you. And if you're closed, if you're not available, then I just will wait, because it's so good and it's not any more expensive than anything. So what would you say is the accomplishment that you're most proud of in business so far?
I think the accomplishment that I'm actually most proud of, in all honesty, is like cooking a thing for me. I've had a lot of messages from people that say they're so proud of me, great. And it's one of those where they kind of already, and myself as well, person, and I might sound a bit like cocky for this, I'm sorry in advance, but it's true. And I can't, like, people already knew sort of in the last 5-6 years that I was already a really good cook, and they kind of knew I was heading towards this direction. So I wouldn't say it's actually biggest achievement, because it's something I do every day anyway, cook fresh food and try and improve my recipes all the time. It's something I've been developing sort of over the last 10 years. And I have to be honest and say my biggest achievement, and I'm really proud of it, is the fact that I've managed to start a technology IT business from scratch that's growing, and that's something people are always going to need. And not only that, I managed to teach my girlfriend, who actually runs that for our current clients pretty much full time now. I don't need to get involved unless we have a new job, like say a big e-commerce job or something like that, which a couple of them I'm currently do and managing my time correctly. And she's helped me massively with obviously time management as well and organization. I'd say that is probably my proudest achievement for someone who has no degree or anything like in website or technology at all. My last qualification exam was A-levels, which I kind of flopped. I wasn't really concentrating in that. I didn't really have the focus for school coursework. And then I did an apprenticeship and then just carried on working from there. So, and so she's got a background in sports science and a degree, so nothing to do with websites or anything like that. And 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I wanted to actually started to focus on web development and look at the future of website and online stuff like this, online technology, modern day technology. And yeah, I was rejected for the role because I didn't have the right experience. I mean, I was an apprentice, so no shit, but yeah, it's cool. So I was like, that's fine. It worked out. And so I had so again, it relates to the biggest challenge. I had a pressure of 5 websites that I had to do, and I had no flipping idea how to do them. So it's a case of just sat there and figure it out. Just sit there, figure it out until you get that end result that your customer wants. That's it. And that, with the help that I've been able to teach myself and teach Hazel and do it. And again, it's not one of those where we did it banging from day one. We knew everything can be improved if we do it right. And just be honest with all our services, be honest with all our prices, and it'll grow. Keep focus on the customer service because we've already got current customers, and it'll grow. And
yeah, and the other thing I say is you'll get known for the results that you have. You'll get known for the results that you have. So you may not have a degree, you may not have experience, but you have customers, you have clients currently that you're serving. And as you get fabulous results for them, that's all we care about, really. So when, for example, with one of the organizations that I'm on the board of directors in, we're looking at now redoing the website. And so we took out, well, I'm not offering it to you because it's in the USA and it's really high level, and it wouldn't be the right project for you at this time. But it is, we took bids for it. So we had 4 bids. We eliminated one for cost, and then the rest of them, it would be also way complicated. It needs to be membership site. It's just, trust me, it's not a basic website, not even close. And so but the interesting thing is what we're looking at is we wanted to see samples. We wanted to see examples of what the results were that these companies, because the companies put a bid together and they all sound fabulous, right?
Yeah.
But I want to see a couple examples of actual websites that you built from your clients and your customers. And that's really what speaks more volumes than telling me any credential that you might have hanging on a wall somewhere. One of my friends owns a web design company and has for the last 11 years.
Yeah.
And he is a little bit older than you, I think. Not much. And he started it when he was 14 years old.
Oh, really?
And completely self-taught.
That's
just
awesome.
like you. So there's no degree, he doesn't have a master's in computer science. I know someone with a master's degree in computer science, programming, and all of that. And he just works for someone at a, decent job and all of that. But he doesn't have a company. He doesn't have a tremendous amount of creativity. So it takes something special to be able to do that. And so how did having a core strategy play into achieving that accomplishment?
Well, the strategy was that we planned what? Sorry, you're talking about the IT business or the pizza?
You take a pick.
All right. Well, I mean, the strategy was always to take on, literally break up all the tasks that's required and split them out evenly. But also we focus on just getting it completed, the most important task first, and everything else can be improved on top of that. And there's a lot of things to do, but I think the thing where we've actually been able to do really well, which obviously that has helped the business sort of grown at the right pace as well, is just focusing on all the important tasks like initially, and trying to listen to the current feedback from the existing customers. Because for a new business, and see, we didn't, so the traditional before I even started my business, I spoke to like a lot of like business directors that are already in sort of position that like that in the position that I wanted to sort of look up to and things like and we're talking some people like some are millionaires as well. So like, again, that I want to go to that direction. And they were saying, at first, it's all about focusing on the current customers, Chow. Avoid just getting as much work as possible, focus on the profit. Now, we looked at all our advantages in saying, right, the advantage of our business is we have the skill ourselves to be able to do it ourselves, right? So there's no cost in that. There's only a small cost in that, the posting or whatever. And look at the time it takes. Are we in a rush to actually get this done and try and get another piece of work to recuperate costs and loans? No, because we have no loans, no debt or anything like that. So it's a case of using our time, building, because we want to be able to know, obviously we knew, so we want to be able to know that our work actually delivers and achieve the results as well. Because like you say, it's about the results. It's not, you can't just continue forever like the same, you plateau and eventually someone else will come along and do something better. So it's like, you've got to always stay on it with your services and try and improve. And we constantly just ask customers for feedback, honestly, constantly. And we tell not even just customers, it's like friends, family, a lot of people. That's like, just ask for feedback all the time and just listen to every single one of those. That's it. And then sort of work on each point. So it's like, it's kind of like an example of, I sat with one of our customers, right, who said they had no idea. I'll give this prime example. He said they had no idea what they wanted. So I said, right, okay, cool, we'll do your first draft. A week later, came back to show them the first draft. They literally went, no, I don't like that, don't like that, don't like that. So the natural reaction for most people go, oh, right, oh, well, what, you do it yourself? No, you can't say that. Like, no. We sat there and go, oh, okay, cool. So, well, we'll change it to this. Do this. Well, what would you like it if we change it to this? And then showed examples of other websites, and they were like, oh yeah, great. And just build from there. And then even the second draft, you kind of have to expect, even when the website launches, they'll probably go back to you and go, no, can you change this, add this, which it's up to us to decide how we want to operate that. What is our processes for that? What systems have you got in place, like to take on those and manage those jobs? Because there's going to be teething issues. There's going to be new changes and stuff and regulations coming all the time, because they have their businesses to run kind of a similar. And sort of the businesses we target are obviously the bigger businesses who focuses on doing their thing, and they outsource and pay someone else to run it for them, which is what we want. And we basically want like people who don't have the time to do it, like businesses don't have time to do it, and go, yeah, you sort everything, which is great, because that's what we do. And we always go back to them and go, like, we need to do this, give suggestions, because at the end of the day, it covers our back. So if they like in the future go, oh, we need to do this, this actually they're not going to do that, because we're that proactive with it. And to be able to keep up with that, you've got to put right systems and processes in place. And so obviously things like reminding, stuff like that, you can't keep just doing things like manually try and remember. It doesn't work like that. So I've sort of taken that on board myself, and like doing all that system processes, get all the IT down, because that's something that Hazel doesn't really know. And it's not something that she's just sit there and stress about anyway. She wanted to get into sort of marketing and social media. I thought, oh, that's great. That's amazing. See, I'm really good at sales, so I can actually teach you and guide you in the thing that I wanted to do was sit there and actually focus on all these technical processes and business and systems and all that. And basically just try and be the engine. And I knew that if I wanted to do this food service and to have all businesses running right, well, you got to get your system and processes and stuff in place. I mean, it's not rocket science, and get all your costs down, stuff like that. So having practice with one business and then another business and then another bit, it gets easier each time. And I kind of relate back to 10 years ago. I was kind of doing like a similar thing where I was juggling between 3 or 4 part-time jobs, which none of them I actually cared about anyway. Like, I know it was just temporary, that I needed the money, so I was willing to work. And the thing that I said to myself, I'll take all the skills from every single one of those jobs, because they can all teach me every single skill. Clearly, Papa John's Pizza, that was my first part-time job. when I was
And you know
16.
what though? Because we talked about pizza, we talked about the IT, and then there's these T-shirts that come into
Yes.
play as well. Because
Yeah.
that's also a little bit off. Because I see all kinds of T-shirts on my Facebook advertisements.
Mhm.
Because they target me for cats, I guess. So I see all
Yeah.
these cat T-shirts and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah,
So
we
there's a
should start doing
lot
some
of
cat one.
T-shirt businesses out there. There really are a lot of
There
T-shirt
are, yeah.
businesses out there. So why would you think you've got two? Well, I'll start a T-shirt businesses. I mean, that's
Um,
really out there.
the main thing for that, the key for that isn't to launch and try and just push sales for that t-shirt. That's actually more of a prep and a platform for the future. There are other plans that I have to sell on that platform, Nuttee. So, and to be fair, again, with more time during COVID, I literally said to myself, now is actually the perfect time. Why wait to try and launch like my own clothing line? Something I've been dreaming out as a kid. Like, oh, imagine wearing my own clothes one day that I'm going to be wearing around and seeing people wearing my clothes. I could not my own clothes, but our design my own company potentially that I go, oh my God, I actually started that business a few years ago, people wearing it. And it's funny because someone messaged me the other day going, who bought a t-shirt and said, I was standing in the queue and a kid behind said, whoa, that t-shirt's so cool. Messaged me telling me that. And I was like, oh, wow, that's literally, that's pretty much what I'm wanting, again, to build on. I know it's going to be a slow build. It's a massive slow builder because there's already things like Boohoo, obviously really cheap. They have massive stock. They go a long time. I'm not really trying to compete with them in going really cheap. The inspiration behind the clothing business is in sort of my childhood. There's been days where, there's been days where harsh times, and the only motivation that I could actually find to keep myself going in sort of training and everything was when I saw clothes going out shopping and I'd get money, but there'll be t-shirt that said vision and t-shirts that say believe in you and all that. And every single one of those I look at, it's yeah, that's me. Keep going, Chow. It's fine. It's only temporary. Well, I mean, it's true. And I hope to basically wanting to do the same with everyone else. And the truth is, it's very easy for people to get to the negative phase and bring themselves down. Now, if you're wearing something that reminded you every day of everybody has actually their own special gift and everyone is special and you can actually do anything. It helps. It really helps. And again, this is why I say people to just try things like this. It might not work if you don't believe it, but for me it worked. And for a lot of people, it seemed to work as well, because as soon as I launched it, I had a lot of friends and family. It was like, oh, we'll buy it. Yeah, wanting to support, and they'll buy it once. But again, the purpose anyway of that was to prove to myself that I can actually build an e-commerce website easily like that within a week if I plan out all the processes beforehand, which I did. And I did it. And then it was like, oh, great, there's a platform. So I've already got merchandise and stuff for other companies ready to push. So it's a case of just keep pushing the content, growing the followers. And then once we're ready, that's when
so I can see how it fits together then, the e-commerce website build with the IT company. So it kind of fits in. It gives you also practice. That kind of makes a lot more sense now. So, so now
and it's portfolio as well. So if someone came to me and said they want an e-commerce website, have you done one? I go, yes, I have this one. Do you like it? And actually, a few people have actually done that already. And it's like, yeah, go on, then, can you do me?
That's cool. Website? Make one like that for me. That's really cool. Exactly. Yeah. So what are 3 to 5 key skills, moves, or techniques that protect against failure?
Persistency, focus. And for me, it's been persistency, focus, expectations, expectations, and be real, kind of same thing. Expectation. I mean, persistency firstly is knowing that the first version ain't going to be the best. It doesn't matter what you do. The first time, it will never, everything can be improved. So just know that. So it's people say to themselves oh, I would do that, but no, do it. And then if you want to do it, you can, and then improve on it. So the focus as well is focus on each task at hand. And that is critical for us right now, because there's so much going on with different businesses, different areas, some different email address that we have to organize. So focus is a key. That means focusing on one task, completing it, focusing on the next one, completing it, focusing on the next one, completing it. And you get that done. And eventually over time, sort of you build that repetition in your head, in your muscle memory, that you just instantly do. And again, the expectations of it is, in reality, and I've had a lot of people messaging me this about like trying to pitch like just marketing and sales for my business and stuff like that. Obviously, I know like we manage that all internally anyway. And it comes from a lot of people like my generation who I know have an expectation that as soon as they have a website, even if they've been running a business for a year or two, as soon as they have a website, or as soon as they say, now I run my own business, I'm a business owner, the sales is going to come through like that. And everyone's going to go, oh yeah, I'll pay for you. That's not reality. No, everybody starts small. That is the reality. Everybody starts small. And even now I'm speaking to a lot of my friends who want to start businesses, and they've got wicked business ideas. In all honesty, I'm like, wow, yeah, you should try that. Definitely try that. And I'm just speaking from my experience to see where I can help, because obviously some of them are like for example, like photography and drone photos and stuff like that. That's not my specialty. Obviously, I don't really focus on that. So I mean, like, people should really like have an expectation that if you're gonna start and do something big and take the risk, then expect that. Just start small, and you can get as big as your vision. That's it. As big as your vision. And
that's great.
The focus. Oh, sorry, did you have a question?
No. I was just saying that's great. I mean, it brings to mind. I heard a story about a kid, I guess, who started a drone business, but his thing was photographing for property or real estate in the USA. Agencies. So even during COVID and people are afraid to go see houses, that's okay. We'll take you on a drone ride through the house with his little drone. So I thought, well, that's pretty cool. And cool. You're right. You start small. You start testing, seeing if it works with one person, another person, and then you bring in a little team, and
See, the truth is, even businesses are like that, right? And if there's anyone out there right now that's going, oh, that's cool, that's a good idea, Nottingham, no one's doing that, I want to do that. Yeah, great, go do it, right? And I'd expect straight away you're going to get some kind of issues with invasion of privacy and stuff like that. So you've got to look at the regulations for that. That's how I go about, like, expect the inevitable, which are like issues and stuff like that you're going to get. And it's how you deal with those that really makes you who you are and make your business. So you got to listen to the current issues. And even that, a lot of times, like, even I think back to a lot of time I knew the current issues already. So I started working on it beforehand. And if a customer says it and I'm like, yeah, they're just reassuring me that I need to get on that now and do it. And yeah, it's I suppose if you go into the other point, is the urgency as well, and focus on the end result. Just focus on the end result you want. It's as simple as that. I mean, it depends what field. It's weird because it depends what field you're in, I suppose. Because I mean, the turnover for the vegan pizza business has like popped off a lot quicker than the IT business. But then there's a lot less profit in that. There's more ingredient and stuff, kit to pay out. You get me. So
yeah, my question on the pizza thing is those little plastic things that go in the middle that keep the like slices or whatever is that. Do you really need that? What is that even for?
Well, I had this debate with my girlfriend, and she was like, "We don't even need that." It's so like say if you ordered 6 pizzas and I got them in the box, they're all stacking on top of each other.
Yeah.
You got the bottom one's got 5 pizzas on top, so it's likely to push the middle down. You could touch the top, so that table stops it from doing that.
Oh, that makes more sense now. Yeah.
But I do want biodegradable ones, because that is the only thing that's like pissing me off.
Yeah.
Everything else is biodegradable.
I get it now. I thought it was something to like keep the slices separate or to keep it from folding on each other. It's literally to keep the box from collapsing in the middle and touching the pizza, which is of course gross if that happens. So
exactly.
Nobody wants that. If you bring me a pizza and I'm like, God, it touched the box and now it's gross. Yeah. So that makes more sense because you never know as things jiggle around. So
exactly.
You probably do need that in that case. So how has leveraging proven strategies affected your earning capacity?
Sorry, you might have to like translate that layman's term. What does that actually mean?
How has leveraging proven strategies, leveraging those proven strategies affected your earning capacity? So you are making money, I assume. You're not
Oh, yeah.
homeless. You're not on
No.
welfare. So your businesses are
Oh.
making money. So how has leveraging those proven strategies affected that?
I mean, can you give me an example of what you mean?
Yeah, sure. So you're making money, right?
Yeah.
So your earning capacity is decent.
Yeah.
And you said that you first launched your IT business. So you didn't just decide one day to launch an IT business and then launch an
Yeah.
IT business and
Yeah.
then just let the cards fall where they may. You even told me that you had your core strategy was to break it down and to
Yeah.
do the most important thing first and then improve everything else and gather constant feedback and make constant improvements. So you had a very strategic approach to it. So how has that and other things like that affected your ability to make money?
Well, like on a similar concept, the sort of doing the most important things first, like for the IT business, for this IT business, proven strategy. I mean, I didn't really like for the IT business. I mean, for the food business, it was going to run. I knew it was going to be run differently because of the environment and it's the way that sort of food goes. And to be honest, I'll give you an example. The first week, like we took orders on the go and everything was just rushed off our feet, and we had less equipment, less time, less money. Then everything was rushed off our feet, right? And we said, right, the first thing you need to do, the most important thing, the time management, and literally the time management of making the food. How long the potatoes take, how long the mac and cheese take, how long all that out, all that down, and then figure out your timetable firstly of what hours you want to work. Because in that first week, we actually didn't even decide like what, because it popped off. So we were like, shit, we can't just obviously do it randomly and just keep posting and just make it up as we go along on every customer, right? So firstly, right, structured time opening. So listening to the customers, we got a lot of messages going, how do I order? How do I order? How do I order? So that means we need to actually put something in place for people to order straight away. So again, figured out our opening, figured out the times, figured out the next most important thing. Again, people were going, do you deliver to this? Do you deliver to this? Do you deliver to this place? So that means people, like, we're not very clear on our delivery strategy of where we're going. Right, let's be clear on that. X delivery charge within X mile, X delivery charge between X mile, sorted, done. Listen to feedback of the food as well. I mean, sorry, I should have said that first. The most important thing was feedback of the food. Before that, when we were given free samples. Yeah, exactly. And then, that is a proven strategy. Every single week, we've got more or similar number of orders. Profit and turnover have increased every single week because we focus on sort of the most important thing, like the time management of how long the potatoes take to cook and getting the orders right and getting the strategy of the deliveries right as well, because it's one of those where you could potentially send out a driver and then it takes too long to come back and then late for the next one. And then a lot of it was the similar strategy that we did with the IT, which is, right, let's figure out all the important stuff that we need to do first, which, I mean, it's easy to go, the important stuff, we need money. Let's try and get as many customers. No. That's where we damage our reputation from day one. So we've actually done it right and started very small again and grown it from day one. And I actually personally didn't know whether what I was doing right. It must be if it was popping off. The day that I knew was when every single competitor told me I was doing it right. So I was like, cool, I'm doing it right then. And they actually wanted to order. They placed an order and they left a review on my food and said my food was amazing. For a competitor to do that, you've got the right shit. So I was like, wow, we need to keep going.
Yeah, that's actually an amazing sign, because you hear about competitors trolling and leaving nasty reviews and trying to degrade you, but if they're actually loving your food, then you're not just doing something right. You may have found something magical in business, actually.
And the
So
thing
what
that
is,
confirmed
yeah.
it, sorry, I was just literally going to finish always saying, the thing that confirmed it was customers was also telling me that. Not friends,
Oh
family,
yeah.
random strange customers. So I was like, wow,
That's yeah. Now, not just
that's
your
it.
friends like me who
Yeah,
might want to tell you, yes, of course it's
exactly. Yeah,
delicious. Thank you so much.
yeah,
Because we're friends. So I don't want to break your heart. But
yeah,
random customers who are just pure customers who don't know
yeah,
you outside of that, saying good things is of course makes a big difference. So
yeah.
so what was the best strategy that you ever learned, and what impact did it have on your business?
Um, the best strategy that I kind of ever learned, and one that I stayed focused on, which was really important that I needed to, was listen to sort of like the staff. I mean, obviously, I don't really have a lot of staff apart from like my brother who's worked with the IT, and then Hazel, who's my business partner and stuff at the same time. And because I have a lot more experience and knowledge than them, it was a case of they need to be able to do tasks that they're doing without me. So that means that I have to put stuff in place. If I'm the most experienced one, I'm the most knowledgeable one, I have to put stuff in place that will teach them for them to be able to do it themselves. Otherwise, it's not sustainable if every time they do something, I look and go, oh, have that, Chow, do this. Chow, can you help? Chow, can you help? That doesn't really work like that. I can't grow a business like that, and businesses don't really grow like that. I mean, I already knew established from day one that the hardest bit is going to be removing me from the kitchen, but again, that's down to us and how we deliver that and train other people. But it's fine at the moment. I'm more than happy to do this. What I love. It's my passion. It's one of my passions. So like, it's cool. But yeah, that focusing on the listening to like what Hazel says and what Luke says about like, oh, I don't know that I can't, oh, this is too long to take it, put stuff in place to help that and change that if it's necessary. So like I'll give you a prime example, like that. We had a massive rolling pin to start off with, like Hazel, that's really like take age, and it's true. So if I reduce that, get a smaller rolling pin, she'll be able to do it much quicker, more comfortable, less that chance of injury, and like amazing, less storage space in the cupboard. Great, I'll do that. And let's say something costs, if that costs $5 or something, like we can make that back straight away. It's fine. It's a good investment to have. And even now, I've taken on a delivery driver as well at the weekend, and it's listening to them things like, like I'll put on my story of like me wearing a shirt. She'll reply going, "I need one of these," and it's true. And I already thought of that. I was like, "Yep, you've got one for the weekend already." I was like, "Yeah." So and even it's not even just for them; it's for myself. But I can't keep doing things like just trying to make it up, because I'm so used to doing things in my head because I know it and I keep it in my head. Like, I have to write it down and actually put something in place to help me so I don't remember. And that's literally what I've been doing like all my life. Like naturally, personally, like I try and do something, let it go and forget about it, and then come back to it if I need to. Or do like if something really pisses me off and I really don't know it, like right now, I'll think about it later. It'll come back to me if I really want to, and it does. Like all the time, it does. And if I leave it and say no, I don't really care, leave it. It just I leave it. I let it go. So. Or I know full well that I can get way too carried away with doing things in the kitchen and like just forget about that helping others try and get their tasks done to help me as well. And that has been sort of the really big challenge to stay focused on, because obviously you got to focus on other things like actually get the money as well and work out the profit, work out the cost of everything.
Yeah, and it's a good point. The whole process thing is a good point, because a lot of people that I advise forget that they forget that there's the point of having that kind of stuff, a process in place, is not to create bureaucracy and red tape for yourself and others. The point of it is what you said. It's to like liberate you so that you don't have to constantly micromanage or supervise something. It's to create freedom for yourself. It's to allow for self-organization, to allow it to organize itself. I used to call it when I was working, I used to call it the lazy man's way to manage. Because if I put systems in place where they can manage themselves, then my job is easier. And I'm not, and I use it as a funny way, as a way to remember it. But what it really empowers me or you or anybody to
Yeah,
do is to go focus on other priorities. And those could be
exactly.
expansion,
Yeah,
those could be, PR, those could be things that are developing that
that's
only
right.
you
Yeah,
can do, but you cannot do them if you're tied to
yeah.
certain things and things are not organizing themselves to a degree.
Mhm.
So it's so important. And yet people miss that. Some people miss it because they just, can't think about how do I create a system, process, procedure. Other people think, oh, that's just bureaucracy or red
Yeah,
tape or all that. And it can be. It can be if you don't keep the goal in mind. The one goal in mind is for you to be able to eventually get away from the kitchen or eventually get away from that so that these
exactly.
people
Yeah,
can actually run the show
exactly.
themselves. So now what single strategy are you best known for?
Well, the first week I pretty much did everything and sort of led and like tried to do toppings, make the pizzas, everything. So now 2 weeks later, now I'm managing the business and giving Hazel ideas for things like social media, pushing. I keep posting myself anyway. I stay active on social media just because it's fun. I like being sociable on social media. And the thing that has taken away, like Hazel knows now when the food needs to go in for the next order. She knows how to make a whole pizza from scratch, exactly that I taught her 3 weeks ago. So I don't actually need to make any pizzas, and she can make every single order, and I can just do deliveries because I've got all my recipes down, got all the instructions on how to make it. I lead and manage the whole entity, the business, the process. So I'll go, right, this needs to go on at this time, this needs to go on at that time. I'm going to be back at this time for this delivery. See, like everything is already sort of the process, the systems in place for her to do there. So she doesn't need to call me and go, what seasonings in this one? What seasonings in this? What temperature is this? It's already there. And because obviously I've been practicing so many years, I know that that's the result of it anyway. So it's as soon as something fails, and I would consider something a failure would be like, say we make a mistake, and then that what I do is dig into that mistake and see where we can actually ensure that doesn't happen again. Like 2 weeks ago, I dropped my first pizza on the floor and was delayed. I was like, oh my God. Right, let's make it again. 10 minutes, me and you, let's go. We can do it in 10 minutes. We did. We made 2 pizzas in 10 minutes and we still got the order out on time. And I dropped the pizza, and that my mistake where I went wrong was I decided on that day not to get delivery help, and I ended up losing a bit of time and I rushed, and I should have just got delivery help. And then I did the week after and everything went smooth, which was last week. Everything went absolutely smooth, fine. And then
Well, I'm glad I missed ordering on that one week that you didn't have the help. And my pizza, to be fair, my pizza did taste a little bit funny. Maybe it was the one that fell on the floor. No, I'm just kidding. That's of course a joke. That's of course a joke. I actually am not in the food business, so when I drop food on the floor, I pick it up and eat it. In
no,
my house, I do
that's
not.
me. 5
Yeah.
second rule. But my pizza's got a 20-second rule, so it's cool. No,
Yeah,
I'm really
well, your
joking.
pizza I wouldn't
Please do not
mind,
take that serious.
so if I were you, I would have eaten that pizza. I would have cooked the pizza and kept it for me. Of course, not for the customer, but for you, I wouldn't have wasted it. I would have just said,
Oh
"Oh, this
no,
will be
yeah,
my,
no,
this will be my pizza then." So, what is the best number one strategy you're implementing in 2020?
right now, 2020, get online, learn online stuff, learn a load of online stuff, learn a load of online speed up processes, and ignore all the naysayers that go, oh, you online kids. Ignore every single one of those. Get online, get modern, and learn everything new. And that is the new 2020 world. I always I chip and change my internal system processes all the time. But I make sure I do that for myself, like internally, and test it before I go, well, no, before I actually make the change or anything. Well, I consult with obviously then Hazel and Luke first before doing any of that, because then like I don't want to make a change without them knowing, and then they'll just be constantly asking me questions. Just like if someone else would make a load of changes and I don't know, I'll be asking them questions too. And I know that's not staying. What if they're not there? I want to be able to find out the answers for myself. It's same with them really when they're doing the work and when they're focusing on their own tasks. I mean, yeah, I think the my biggest advice is pick something that you want to learn and do. And I just said to myself, I wanted to start and run and build businesses, and I'm probably going to have to do all the work at first, which is cool. I want to do it. It's an environment I'm used to. I thrive like outside of my comfort zone, in all honesty. I do. I love the pressure. And with that pressure, it just urges me to try and think of loads of different venues, and quick thinking. It's something I've really been used to, like for a very, very long time, even as a kid. And that's what I'm really good at. So that's where I use that to the full advantage to help other people. Like I'll go, if someone just sits there for ages, and I did this as a kid a lot. I was like, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. 2 days later, you're still thinking about the same thing. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I tell, because I've done a lot of things and make a lot of mistakes, I say to people, Hazel, Luke, do that, try that, because this might happen. And I guide them that way. And
so does that sort of come from your because what people don't know is that you have an MMA background as well. So you've done some fighting, some cage fighting and all of that stuff. So does that kind of come from that sort of experience that you have, that sort of
I think
go get them, fight, type of thing?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I mean, it's the same. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah. Because people ask me as well, like, people ask me all the time, like, what's fighting like? Around that time, like when I was actively fighting, people ask me like, what's fighting like? What's fighting like? And I say what I can only say, the same thing, which is, the adrenaline is mad. It's crazy. You don't feel it. But the truth is, no one will ever know what it's like until they do it. I never knew what it's like until I actually did it. So when I did it, it was like,
yeah, because it sounds like you like that pressure, that you're under pressure.
Mm-hmm.
That to me sounds like, it sounds like when you're in a cage and you're fighting, So it's not that I've done that. I've never done MMA fighting, but I've done martial arts. I was in karate a long time ago when I was your age. So cool. It was never as good as you were. I never made it that far, but I did some tournaments here and there. Yeah. And so in the USA, so it's really interesting that, once you're there and you're facing off with someone, that's a lot of pressure. And in business, I guess it's kind of the same. I personally don't like too much pressure. I'm not like you. You enjoy that. So for me, if it got too much pressure to that degree, I'd be like kind of, But what's good is that you know what your threshold is, you know what your comfort zone is. In fact, there's a book that invented that term. I forget the title and the author, but it doesn't matter. But I think it was written in the 70s or something like that. That whole idea of pushing yourself outside your comfort zone is good, as long as you know what your limit is, because you don't want to push yourself over the limit and then have everything fall apart and you fall apart.
With business, like I try and take everything and apply it to myself and see how I would personally think and see, and like how I asked you earlier, translating layman terms, I really translate everything into just simple layman terms for me. So the way I see businesses personally is business is a fancy word for just someone doing something to make money, selling something to make money, doing something to make money, and which everyone wants to do. Everyone does. You work in a business, so you obviously work for someone and make them money, and you get paid for it, or you run your own stuff, do your own thing and make money. Well, either way, you're going to have to make some money, to live, do the things that you like, go shopping, whatever. Otherwise, you're going to starve. And that's the way I see it. So even when I went out there and started businesses on my own, and technically I wasn't really alone. I got Hazel wanted to do it with me. Luke, who's 9 years younger than me, with a great vision and literally with a mindset, ridiculous mindset as well. I want to do this. I want to do for a kid to say that at that age, it just reminds me of me when I was thinking I was in Vietnam, obviously in poverty, grew in poverty. And I remember seeing the nicest yellow fancy sports car. And I thought, imagine one day I could have that one day. And it was a Lamborghini, by the way. One day I will have one.
Nice.
And that stuck with me. And for him to say the same thing, it's because it just reminds me, it's great. You should do it. And people were saying to me, you got balls doing it on your own. But I'm like, before I started, I never wanted to seek for my balls and saw it as scary, purely for the fact that I've stood there in the spotlight with the potential of getting knocked out, slept clean in front of 2,000, 3,000 people in the middle of the spotlight, with a big ass grown ass man the opposite that just wants to take my head off. And if he doesn't take my head off, I'm going to take his head off first. And that's when I needed my balls. That was when I needed my balls. And I grabbed them then. I found them then. So to go out into the big, scary world, just to do something that I love, I'm asking people for money for it and wanted to sell and get money for it. That is something I'm also very used to as a kid. I used to buy stuff on Amazon and resell to my mates and stuff all the time that want, like, say, headphones, just random stuff. And used to make stuff, fix stuff, and just to go build models, go sell by. And selling stuff, even on a market store. My mom's been taking me to a market store since I was really 2. Selling comes naturally. And even as a kid, right, I always said to myself, like, I've been online for quite a long time, like, looking at like memes and social media and motivational quotes and stuff like that. And the one thing that always stuck with me, the one quote always stuck with me as a kid, is that if you can sell yourself, you can sell anything. That's it. So I offer myself in honesty, because they can only say yes or no. That's how I see it. They can only say yes or no. If it's a no, great, fine. If I'm that bothered, I'll figure out like why they said no, really, really why they said no. But even when they say yes or no, I'll always figure out why. Like, try and figure out why they actually said yes, because you want to do it again. You want to keep going. So why that customer said yes to you, and I think back to all the time people have said yes to me, it's purely been because of me. I've sold myself, and that relates to the fact that people buy from people. It's like, if you really don't like someone, you're just not going to buy from them anyway. And again, I've had that myself. I've had people that's like, just don't want to pay my prices, and then like gone and blocked me on everything on social media. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm still here.
That's just funny. So
like,
I assume that, not everybody's going to love you. So
exactly.
I wouldn't even worry about that, because you can't please everybody. If you try to please everybody, then you end up pleasing nobody. So
exactly,
just, you got to be yourself. But I really like that you're selling yourself. People buy from people, and everybody who knows anything about selling or closing sales or anything like that, they know that people buy from people. We may absolutely adore the product, but ultimately we buy from people. And if, and that's where it is, unless of course there is a level of scarcity and a level of exclusivity that you can't go anywhere else, then if I want it bad enough, I'll go buy it from the unpleasant person I don't like.
Exactly.
That's rare. That's a lot more rare.
Exactly.
Just as it's probably more rare than people think that you have the very charming charlatan who you love, but he sells you garbage. So that people think that's more common than it actually is that sort of cheap type person. People buy from people, and companies also keep that in mind. And that's why they engage in a lot of PR and marketing, because they want you to like them, because they know if you detest them, unless they have a monopoly, you're going to just go off to a competitor. And it's
that's right. Yeah.
And it's true. And a lot of it has to do with likability, but customer service plays into that as well, because when you deal with the customer service, that has a lot to do with how much you like the company. When I call them, are they nice to deal with, or is it every time a nightmare and I'm like, oh my God? So again, unless it's a monopoly, I would just rather deal with some people that I enjoy dealing with. Sometimes, even if it costs a little bit more. Cheapness is not always the answer.
It's
but
not, no.
Services. I have, obviously, before we find out more about, where people can contact you for your companies, whether they need pizza, T-shirts, or IT services, I wanted to ask you, does your sort of vision, or because a lot of people say, and this was a question that we had for Jeff yesterday, or that TA had for Jeff yesterday, is that when you have multiple ideas, multiple businesses, and you're multitasking and that, it also kind of brings about a lack of focus, because you're not focused on one thing. And then you hear these people talking about how important it is to focus on one thing and get that going, and then you can you can create another thing. So you've got these 3 things going at the same time. So my answer to that has always been, well, are they really 3 separate things, or is there something that ties them all together in a way that makes sense? Now, there is a concept in Japan I think
Yeah.
it's I think it's like K-Ratus or something like that, which is basically what it means is it's a group of companies
Yeah.
that are not the same company, but they have a relationship and investment with each other. So they own stock in each other. They could even be competitors.
Ah,
But the
okay.
point is it's a way for them basically to, and this is clever, strengthen the economy and guard against downturns, because all of these companies are invested in each other. They own shares in each other. So I own shares in my competitor because I know I'm not trying to put them out of business. There's enough business to
Ah,
go
okay.
around for all of us. But this way, it guards against, for example, some kind of hostile takeover from a foreign, from an investor. So it's a really clever concept. But there's another concept that I think is very similar to yours, and that's a Korean concept. And I know you're not from Korea, but and it's the chaebos or chaibos or something like that. And it's basically a family business cartel, whatever you want to call it. Well, it's not usually drug related like in South America. And it's basically they own a bunch of different businesses that don't really seem to have anything in common. Like Hyundai, for example, they don't just make cars and microwaves, and
No,
they
they
have
don't.
apparently a food business over in Korea. So they
Yeah,
do
that's right. Yeah.
food as well, but it's all owned by like the same person.
Yeah, like Facebook owned Instagram and WhatsApp.
Well, that's different because that's more like they bought that. They're leveraging the idea that they're just buying it. They're buying it,
Oh
absorbing
yeah,
it into
buying
their business.
businesses.
This
Okay,
is
yeah.
like a family or a guy in a family or a girl in a family
Yeah.
who like owns different businesses that don't even seem related. So
Yeah.
manufacturing and so pizza and T-shirts and web design. Do you see what I mean? So that seems
Yeah.
like a lot to me like that Korean concept of, I'm starting my little empire, if you will, but it's
Yeah.
not so much because there's a lack of focus. It's because I'm just starting these businesses, and the thing
Yeah.
that's above all of it is me, like you
Mhm.
said, and I'm selling myself, and that is a South Korean concept now of having this powerful individual. Usually, sometimes they have a lot of political clout, so it goes further than just the business. But
Yeah.
that's what comes to mind when I think about, well, is it a lack of focus, really? Is it? Because some people would
Mhm.
argue and would say, well, Chow, you're just not focused. You need to focus on really growing one of these businesses
Mhm.
so that it's sustainable, it's great, and then you can go ahead and start another one rather than trying to like butter yourself across the three. I know people who would
Mhm.
say that, but
Mhm.
yet I also have
Of
knowledge
course, yeah.
of different cultures that would say that's a stupid thing to do. Why would you focus on one
Yeah.
little business when you can have three? So it's interesting. And
I
is
mean,
that something that you were thinking of? Are you aware of
um,
these models in other countries, or
yeah.
just
Well,
something
firstly, I wasn't aware of that career model that you just said. Wasn't aware of that at all. The thing
okay.
that I kind of always tried to follow was sort of my vision and what I wanted to create for people. That's it, in all honesty. So in terms of those three businesses at the moment, yeah, the longest one's been running is the IT. That's the one that's the one that's been going the longest. That will be the one with the most profit. And the Nuttee, the clothing business, that's new. That's a slow grower anyway. We're not really too focused on that right now. We've got posts lined up and stuff. And then the vegan pizza, that's obviously, again, we're quite heavily focused on that just because, well, we have to. It's growing quicker than we thought. But the truth is that saying with people saying you have to focus on one thing, I mean, that's just someone giving you advice, really. That's not really a fact. You don't have to. You do what you want.
Yeah.
I mean,
Che bowls, it's called Che
yeah.
bowls. I forget how to pronounce it. The Korean Che bowls.
Oh,
There's an
okay.
L in there. Sorry. So in case you ever
Okay.
want to look it up, it's a
Yeah, I will do
very
actually after
interesting
that. Yeah, that's quite interesting. Because the truth is, like, even before in my last workplace, right? And the thing is, I've been so used to just sort of growing and going. When I say growing, like growing the stuff inside my own brain, like growing my own knowledge base, like growing the stuff that I want. Like if I want to know something, I'll just I'll research it. I'm sure you would do the same thing. Like you really want to research the hell out of it and get it. So I've been very used to that since like a kid, being inside and on the computer and doing research. And I translate that through to life as well and take that to like get life skills, get a load of life skill. And I said, right, when I go out and meet people, I'm going to learn life skills from everyone. I'm just going to learn from everyone and literally take a load of like see all the good and see all the bad, see the ugly, everything, and make sure that I do whatever it takes to obviously avoid that. That's it. And I think for a long time, from a very, very young age, like even before coming here to this country, and even when I got here to this country, and even when I turned 20, I had no idea where I was going to be in the future of what I wanted to do. I had a vision, a goal. That's it, which was, and I said to myself when I was 8, when I came here, I said, I made myself a promise that I was going to help everybody and as many people as possible. That's it. I'm going to help as many people as possible and everybody. And I don't know how or what I'm going to do, but I want to, because maybe that's how I could potentially get really, really rich. So yeah, let's just, that was my thought process when I was at 8, like so came here. I think because I didn't know what I was going to do in my life, just change culture completely. So you're there like, what is this world? What has this country got for me? What's this world? What's this culture? What is fucking freezing? Like, this is so cold. Like, I've never seen snow before.
But what you said is good though, because it's a good place to end off, because what you said is you're looking at things of how can I help a lot of people and get really, really rich, because some of our people who might be listening are into personal development. And so they'll be familiar with the work of Napoleon Hill and other people like that who said that, and other people have said as well, like Zig Ziglar and even Ed Foreman later on. So it's been said many times in many different ways that, you know, you help enough people to make your dreams come true. You help enough other people realize their dreams, and however you want to say it. But what you're saying is, you know, I'll help a lot of people and get rich. And there's nothing wrong with that, because it's a beautiful thing when we invest in each other. You know, I help you, you help me, I get really filthy rich, you get really filthy rich. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with us? Because we're not chasing the money, we're chasing helping people, doing something for someone, feeding them or fixing their website or whatever it is that we're doing for them. We're doing something for them that's really, really good and valuable. Honestly, when, you know, I cannot stop thinking about these cheese balls. Is that worth, how much is that worth it to me? Do you know what I mean? Like if you told me they're 10 pounds now, I'd be like, okay, I'm buying them anyway. Do you know what I mean? So it's not like there's anything wrong with you being rewarded for creating these absolutely gorgeous and wonderful things for me to eat. And anyone who feels otherwise, who feels the word for that is diffident, anyone who feels really like shy or undeserving about money really needs to manage that and handle it, because that's a problem. That's a problem of feeling unworthy and undeserving. And so it's great that you're not thinking about it from a sort of what some people would refer to as rapacious capitalism, where it's just like, no, I just want to make as much money as possible. I don't care if the pizza's shit. And if, you know,
see, I used to have that mindset. You know? I used to think that when I was younger. I was more naive when I was younger. I used to, in all honesty, I actually used to think that. And I used to think to myself, I don't care what they're going to do. I just want to get rich and shitloads of money. Just earn loads of money, right? That's it. Yeah. I really learned for myself that you don't do that. The money doesn't come when you chase it.
And the problem with it is, even if it does come, it comes with costs.
Exactly.
It comes with a lot of costs, and the costs could be physical health, the cost could be mental health, the cost could be relationships dissolving right, left. And so, of course, I mean, if it's your priority and you want to end up like divorced 8 times and, you know, and miserable, then go for it. But the truth is that a lot of people don't realize that there is a cost to that approach, even though that approach works. You know, you can totally get rich, you know, using people and whatever, but I'm really glad that you haven't. So, you know, so you come from the heart, you're an entrepreneur, obviously a serial entrepreneur, and you have pizzas, you have T-shirts, you have IT services. So how do we learn more about your proven process? So share with us, if somebody is listening to this and lives in Nottingham area and would like some of this vegan pizza company revelations, because this is not food. This is cheese balls, mac and cheese, breadsticks, and pizza that's better than any ordinary pizza you've ever had. I'm not kidding. Don't ever go to Papa John. If you have this once, you'll never want any of these other folks
Oh no,
again.
I'm taking that claim. The best pizzas. I'm taking that
I
claim.
gave it to you.
And I want to
'cause
take it forward. I want to take it worldwide. And I don't know how or when I'm going to do that or like how, but again, it'll come when it comes.
That's great. And I gave you that little idea because I think it's absolutely true. And so where do people in Nottingham go right now to order or find out more about this pizza, mac and cheese, this food? Where do they go?
Get on Facebook, get on Instagram at the Vegan Pizza Co. And it's there. Drop us a DM.
The Vegan Pizza Co.
Yeah.
The Vegan Pizza Co. 4 words, at THE Vegan Pizza and Co. CO for company. So search them out on Instagram or Facebook. You'll find them if you're in Nottingham, and you will want to order this. So if somebody wants to have a T-shirt like mine with a positive and funny message, so it's positive and funny, like sup beaches, because we all want to go to the beach, where do they go to find out about the Nuttee company?
The same. Nuttee.co.uk.
That's not the same, because we just said Instagram. So this is an actual website that they go to.
Okay, I get you. Sorry.
So nuttee.co.uk. So Nuttee, and there's a play on words there because Chow is obviously a little bit nutty, and it's also a T-shirt company. So you go to nuttee.co.uk, nuttee.co.uk. And if somebody, you can go anywhere in the world. It doesn't matter where you are, Australia, New Zealand, Russia, the United States.
We had an order to Australia last week, actually.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. You can have Africa. It doesn't matter where you are on Earth. You can have awesome T-shirts that you can wear that are actually, and this is a good time for people to buy these T-shirts because you'll be the only one in your village wearing it, or your town wearing it, or your hamlet, or wherever you are wearing it, because this is like grassroots, launched not that long ago. And so you might see a few around here, you might see a few around there, but really, if you want to be unique with your T-shirt swag, this is a good time to place those orders because you don't see these very often now, and soon it's going to be everywhere. So nuttee.co.uk. And lastly, if somebody is anywhere in the world, and actually they probably don't even need to be on the planet right now, they could be somewhere orbiting in Mars, or if they're aliens, because the government, I don't know if you knew this, but I was surprised amid COVID-19 and all the turmoil in the United States, the government actually released documentation and admitted that UFOs are indeed real. They actually said, you know what? We were, they are real. Well, we have them, we've cited them. And all. So I was like, whoa, that blew my mind. But you know what really blew my mind is that actually nobody even, they're like, oh yeah, aliens are real. They were like, no big deal. Because everybody's so like, into like COVID and these other controversies that are out there right now, which I won't even go into the politics. I'm not into politics, but you know what we're talking about, all that stuff going on. So everyone is so into that right now, they completely just missed that the government released and admitted that UFOs are real. So nobody's like, because that blew my mind, because it's like aliens are real. I'm like, oh, hello, does anybody like?
To be fair, I believe that anyway, like from a kid.
So did I. Of course, I did too. But the point is that nobody freaked out about that, and I thought that's big. That's a big deal. That's big news because the government's been like covering that up for decades. So if you need your IT, you need a website, you need something like that, you don't even technically need to be on planet Earth right now. So if you're listening and you happen to be an alien and you're you're Romulan or wherever you're from, then that's cool because Chow can help you with that. So where would they go to find out more about the IT services?
Well, the company is called The People's IT, short for The People's Information Technology Limited. And you can, we're based in Nottingham. We have a website, tp-it.co.uk.
So what's that website? TP what?
tp-it.co.uk.
So it's tp-it.co.uk. You just go there, you can find out more, you can see examples, and you can get in touch if you need your IT or website or whatever sorted, no matter where you are on the planet. The reason I didn't offer the t-shirts to our alien friends is because I'm not actually sure what their bodies are like, and so this might
I
not
can't,
actually fit
because of COVID delays. I can't ship to them. I can't ship out of Earth right now. COVID delays, so
you can't ship outside of Earth. We also can't guarantee that we have the correct cut for the physique of an alien, depending on how they're built. But maybe in the near future, once they get in touch and all that, if they really like the positive messages and they think they're funny, they can get in touch and we can start designing things for their figures. But so I'm only half joking, And so Chow, it's been real fun to talk to you. It's been a real pleasure to talk to you. We've learned a lot, we've grown a lot, and I really appreciate you coming on Just an Answer. So I'll give you one more word and then we'll sign off.
Oh, cool. No, thanks for having me. I've learned a lot myself as well. It's my first ever podcast. Hope everyone enjoyed that. Speaking from the heart.
I think you sell yourself well. I think everybody loves you, and not everybody, obviously, but I think people love you.
Oh, no, you've got to have haters.
Admire you, and you've got a lot to offer. So it won't be your last podcast, I'm sure of that. So this is Justin done for Just an Answer. Thank you very much. We've been here with Chow Allen, Mr. Chow, the real Mr. Chow. What do t-shirts, tech, and pizza have in common? Chow, Mr. Chow Allen, my good friend. So thank you very much. We're going to end the